Hey, Sean, how's it going, man?
Good, Michael. How you doing, man?
So it's great to be here at Gateway. You know, we stopped by from an event in Colorado.
Very
and
cool.
We were like, hey, let's go see these guys because I know you buy some of our parts.
We do.
And we want to see them on the trucks.
Awesome.
And hey, you know, we love Broncos. And holy cow, you have got so many Broncos here. It's incredible.
Yeah, we got quite a few here. That's you know, obviously what we do, but
Yeah.
more than we can count. How's that?
Yeah,
You
for
know,
sure.
And more to come.
You know, and I actually landed on this one because, of course, it caught my eye that it's got, well, our complete dual sport monster suspension system.
Right.
And, you know, of course, I saw a couple others over here as well. And I just got to ask, why Duff's?
Well, I mean, one, we have tried other suspension components and chassis to begin with.
Okay.
And we decided to go a different avenue to try it. And to be honest with you, I mean, we like it. The versatility, the tech support that you guys offer, the willingness to answer the questions on tech and guide us in the direction of what we need.
Cool.
Years of experience is a huge help.
Sure.
You know, you take somebody that hasn't been in the industry as long, offers a product, you try it just to try it, doesn't work out, you're always going to come back to something that you know works.
Got it.
And we were super happy with what you guys have put together for us on these trucks.
You know, you actually gave us one of our biggest challenges last year. You know, that Ryan Blaney build.
Yes, sir.
You know, that had it was a supercharged Coyote making like 750 horsepower.
Yeah.
And I remember you guys coming to us because you were concerned with the control and drivability.
Yes.
And, you know, one, we were honored that, you know, you would think of us. And two, we wanted to deliver. And I'll be honest, I don't know how many supercharged Coyote Broncos putting down that kind of horsepower we've actually done. So we got to be really up close and personal with it. And it was a success.
And you did deliver.
That's awesome.
That
man.
truck is phenomenal.
That's so
Our
cool.
client that won that at the auction is super happy with the way that truck runs and drives.
That's
I know
awesome.
we were delighted with the way that truck handled when it left here. So
That's awesome.
you know, we can't thank you guys enough for
yeah.
obviously building a quality product
Yeah.
and you know, helping us through that and working with us on that project. So
Great. Awesome, man.
appreciate it very much.
Glad to hear it. That's really great.
Always great meeting you, Mike.
At Gateway Broncos.
Yeah, fantastic.
Man, I gotta know. Just, you know, other than these are just being a wildly popular vehicle, what is it about Broncos that got you into this?
You know, it's kind of twofold. One is I grew up in a '79 F-250 Super Cab,
Yeah.
two-wheel drive.
Okay.
Okay, so I grew up with that motto of jack it and stack it because the two-wheel drive got stuck all the time. I mean, everywhere we went, and grew up in the Midwest, it was
Okay.
snow 2 inches and you're stuck.
Right.
It'd slide right off the road. And so my parents were so cheap, they would never buy a four-wheel drive. I begged. I was a kid. I was 9 years old. I begged for it. No way they were going there just because the fuel economy.
Right.
So I always said I was going to get a four-wheel drive, and in about 2006 or January 2016 or so, I bought my first one, Yuma, Arizona, because our daughter really liked the Broncos, and I thought four-wheel drive, I love that. So I flew to Yuma, Arizona, and drove it back. One way.
Drove it
I
back.
drove it back, 1,800 miles.
Sight
and-
unseen.
Oh, yeah, sight unseen, totally. Yeah, my wife said, "Can you trust this guy?" And I looked him up, right? He's a realtor in Yuma,
Yeah.
small town.
I'm
And-
asking, can you trust this Bronco?
Well, you know, I did a little vetting. I said, okay, you need the basics. You need fuel,
Yeah.
you need compression, you need to be able to cool the thing off, and those basics had to be there, and you need spark. So they said they changed the fuel filters, and all that was good. They said they flushed the radiator. Well,
Yeah.
that's the part that we really had a miss on.
Oh.
So, you know,
Did you say it was you and her?
No,
Or
no, I just
you?
did a one-on-one.
Just you?
Yeah, it was a
Okay.
one-on-one with me. And so I drove that thing back, had a little trouble between Yuma and Scottsdale, and then from Scottsdale here it was all fine. But I did that trip, loved it. Manual steering, 72, automatic.
Oh, an
No, it was automatic. Yeah, they converted it to an automatic. And it was a great truck. It was a good
So
truck.
you fell in love with the Bronco
Oh, yeah.
after driving it?
Well,
basically cross
yeah,
country.
it was, one is four-wheel drive and going, well, then when I took it off-road,
Uh-huh.
and you can go up the hill like a billy goat. I fell in love. I mean, there was no doubt at that point it was a love affair, because when our two boys were like 12 and 13, 11 and 13, they were in the side-by-side, and I went up the hill, and I get up to the top of the hill, and I said, "You guys coming?" I go, "No, we're going to go around." So I knew at that point the Bronco can do things even a side-by-side couldn't with a couple of kids in it. And so, I don't know, it just became this passion. I loved them. And at the time, you could buy original paints. I love original paint. So went crazy and bought a ton of original paint trucks, and found one, a 73 automatic, orange, beautiful. That's when I had it at
Carlisle.
Carlisle, yeah,
Yes,
2016
I saw that
Carlisle.
Yeah,
so
the patina.
the whole
on it.
purpose of that,
Yes.
honestly, was to get it to the East Coast so I could pick up our daughter in LaGuardia. We went from there to Walden Pond, from Walden Pond to Glacier, and from Glacier to Seattle and down Pacific Coast Highway. Ultimate trip. So we understood the Bronco. By the time we were done, we understood you only have 2 hours of fuel.
Sure.
We understood the highs and the lows of the Bronco. It was completely stock, unrestored, original paint. And
You know,
we did it.
I'll tell you, in the Bronco community, that is unheard of in this day and age. So doing that is like, everyone's like, "Wow, how'd you do that?" the balls on that guy.
Yeah, well, we pulled a little 1965 camper too. I don't know if you knew that. That's the camper sitting in back.
No kidding.
The little 1965 tent camper.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'd be so tired. I just had a Baja rack on top. I don't know if you remember that, but I had a Baja rack, and I just hung a hammock from one to the other, and she'd sleep inside. We were too tired to break out from the camper. But you know, it was the ultimate. But we put up a little Facebook page after Carlisle, and we had 33,000 people following us by the time we got out to Nebraska.
Holy
If you look at that, 33,000 people. And so we said, okay, maybe we're not the only ones who like Broncos.
Yeah.
So
that's how it got started.
that's how it got started, yeah.
And at the time, you were looking at barn finds going, "Wow, wouldn't it be great to have a modern drivetrain, something that looks just like it's been living a life."
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it's funny.
I love the stories behind all the Broncos.
Yes, yeah, the people that have owned them and the history behind each one. It's funny because I fell in love with Broncos doing the same thing in Arizona, going out the hill, and it just didn't stop. It just kept going. And it was such a rush.
Yeah.
And it was like, I got to have more. You know, and then you're looking for trails, and you're getting bigger tires, and you're meeting the whole community.
It's an amazing vehicle. So the story, I don't know if you saw that Grabber blue truck we got here, but it was a one owner, original paint, but it was the first new car the guy had ever purchased. Right, so Sam's the guy's name out in Colorado.
Right over there by the Gulf Mustang, right?
Yeah,
yes.
yeah. It's amazing truck. So so he and his wife are going through the, remember I tell you I love the stories, right?
Yes.
So we pulled it out with that F100, and I love the F100 so much I bought it too. And so he and his wife are going through the glove box, and he pulls out a snake bite kit. I thought that was cool.
That is
and
cool.
he pulls out the old warranty for those vinyl seat covers. He goes, "Oh, see, I've got the original warranty." And, you know, and so Sam pulls out this no-dos, and he goes, "Well, I wonder where that came from." And Sam's wife gave him a hard time because, "Oh, don't you remember that trip we were pulling the boat? We're, you know, whatever." So it was just fun. Hearing them bickering back and forth about what all's in the truck and all the stories they had. He bought a 1974 boat that matched the color of his Grabber blue Bronco.
Cool.
And so almost pulled that home too. But
that's cool. And you've just ran into hundreds, if not thousands more of those stories in the 4 years that you've been doing this.
Oh yeah. All the time.
That's incredible, man.
All the time.
It's really great. I really appreciate the time.
Mike, you're very welcome.
And I'm just, you know, I don't know if you knew this, but we came from a Bronco event in Colorado.
Yeah.
And we're like, on the way back, we've got to stop by, see what Seth is doing. This is incredible.
Thank you. Thank you. A lot of hard work goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this one here is actually finished up in stations 2 and 3. We've done first fire on this truck.
Okay.
It's just an open header truck right now. It needs exhaust built for it. But at the completion of stations 2 and 3, when they're at this point and preparing for station 4, you can see everything is loomed and attached to the aprons. It's ready for sheet metal components to be assembled and installed on the vehicle. We do a little bit of that, and then we'll get exhaust put on it. And then before we do any interior work, we like to do a few, you know, first test miles and stuff like that. Get the steering set, get everything set up. We do what we call a mini nut and bolt, where we'll actually re-torque everything under the truck after about, you know, 30 or 40 miles. Then we'll do a final retorque after 450 miles. We'll go back and retorque everything, do any fluid changes we need to do, final detail, final inspection, full functionality of everything. Everything operates and fits the way it's supposed to before we ship it to the client.
Very cool. I tell you, a lot of these Broncos, they still have that farm truck utilitarian feel because they don't have those creature comforts. And once you put the full interior in and you put some really nice upholstery on and you add these other creature comforts, all of a sudden, you're like, wow, I'm back into this modern age. But I've got this skin around me that's straight out of the 60s.
Yeah.
And I think that's what really people are just wanting the most, right?
It is. I totally agree. They want the reliability and the creature comfort, but they want the nostalgia look.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.